Welcome to a new episode of the Depth Podcast. I'm Daniel, your host, and today's episode is titled, How to Read a Book in a Way That Changes Your Life. Let me begin with a question that might be a little unsettling. What if all the books you've read in your life haven't changed you at all? What if you've been reading for years, finishing one book after another, feeling a temporary sense of inspiration, only to return to the same habits, the same decisions, the same results? Is the problem in the books or in the way we read them?
And I'm Sophia, a reflective thinker passionate about deep learning and personal growth. Honestly, Daniel, that question forces us to face an uncomfortable truth. Many people read their entire lives, but only a few truly transform. Not because they're smarter, but because they've learned how to read deeply.
Imagine if I told you that a single book could completely change the course of your life, not because it contains magical secrets, and not because it promises instant wealth, but because you read it differently. The real question isn't, what do you read? It's how do you read? Many people finish dozens of books every year, yet their lives remain the same. Others read just one book, and their thinking, their decisions, even their destiny shifts. So, what's the secret?
The secret isn't in the number of books, but in the depth of engagement. Reading is not simply transferring information into the brain, it's reshaping awareness. When you read superficially, you consume words. When you read deeply, you rebuild yourself.
Let's start there. What's the real difference between superficial reading and analytical reading?
Superficial reading is when your eyes move across the lines. You grasp the general idea, maybe highlight a few inspiring quotes, then close the book and move on. A week later, you barely remember more than the title. Analytical reading, on the other hand, is entering into a dialogue with the author. You ask, why did they say this? What assumptions are they making? Do I agree? How can I apply this idea to my life? At that moment, you shift from being a passive reader to an active thinker.
So, the book isn't a product we consume, but a tool we use.
Exactly. Take a real example. A young man struggling with chronic procrastination read a book about habits. The first time, he read it like any other book and finished it. Nothing changed. Months later, he reread it, but this time he took notes and chose just one habit to apply for 30 days. The result? His daily routine transformed completely. The book didn't change, his way of reading did.
That leads us to something practical. How do we read in a way that truly changes our lives? Can we break it down into stages?
There are 3 essential stages: before reading, during reading, and after reading. Before reading, ask yourself, why am I reading this book? What problem am I trying to solve? Reading without a clear intention is like traveling without a destination. Here's a simple exercise. Before opening any book, write one sentence. I am reading this book because I want to, and complete it. This directs your mind to search for specific answers.
So, intention makes the difference.
Absolutely. The mind pays attention to what it believes is important. During reading, don't just be a receiver. Use a pen. Underline powerful ideas. Write questions in the margins. Imagine you're in conversation with the author. Here's another exercise. After each chapter, close the book for 2 minutes and summarize the main idea out loud or in writing in just 3 sentences. If you can't, you haven't understood it deeply yet.
That sounds more like active study than casual reading.
Because real understanding shows up when you can restate the idea in your own words. Then comes the most important stage, after reading. Many people close the book and move on to the next one. That's where the opportunity is lost. Ask yourself, what is the one idea I will apply this week? Not 10 ideas, just one. Application is the bridge between knowledge and transformation.
Do you have an example of someone who applied just one idea and saw a real change?
Yes, a woman who constantly felt overwhelmed read a book about managing energy rather than time. One idea stood out. Give your most important tasks your best energy. Instead of tackling difficult tasks at the end of the day, she started doing them in the morning when her mind was clear. Within months, her productivity completely shifted. One idea applied consciously.
So the problem isn't lack of information, but accumulation without action.
Exactly. We live in an age of information overload. Superficial reading adds noise. Deep reading filters, refines, and turns ideas into behavior. Here's another exercise. After finishing a book, write a short letter to yourself to be opened in 6 months. Include the 3 most important ideas you learned and how they will influence your decisions. Revisit it later. You'll be surprised either by how much you've grown or how much you need to realign.
That's powerful. It's like the book becomes a mirror.
More than a mirror, it becomes a tool for accountability. And one more important point. Don't read to finish the book, read to understand yourself. Sometimes one book read slowly, revisited, and discussed with a friend is worth more than 10 books rushed through quickly.
Yet many people take pride in how many books they read each year.
Quantity isn't wrong, but it's not the goal. Imagine someone visiting 100 cities in a week without stepping out of the car. Another person spends a week exploring just one city deeply. Who truly experienced it? Deep reading means stepping out of the car.
If we were to summarize practical steps our listeners can start today,
First, set a clear intention before reading. Second, read with a pen and engage actively. Third, summarize each chapter in your own words. Fourth, choose one idea for immediate application. Fifth, review your notes 2 weeks later and assess the impact.
let me leave you with this. Think about the last book you read. Can you name one idea that changed your behavior? If not, perhaps you didn't read it deeply.
And that's not a failure. It's an invitation to try again differently. Reading isn't a race. It's a journey of self-construction.
In the end, the real question isn't how many books did you read this year? It's which book read you, which one exposed your weaknesses and stirred questions you were afraid to ask.
The book that changes your life isn't necessarily the most famous one. It's the one you read with awareness, presence, and critical thought. When those come together, words become decisions, and decisions become a new path.
So the next time you pick up a book, don't ask, when will I finish it? Ask, what will it change in me? And perhaps the deeper question we leave you with today is this. Do you read to collect information or to become a better version of yourself?